And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another day here, another season of the HomeStory Cup, HomeStory Cup number 28. So the group stage, I'm of course just your host, VIP, and with me I'm joined by these amazing players and by the people in the chat as well. Welcome, welcome, one and all. As we continue our coverage of HomeStory Cup, again, HomeStory Cup was almost at this point 2 weeks ago, and we yesterday went through Group A. We're slowly working our way through the group stage into the playoffs, catching up on matches that we otherwise did miss out on this channel. Again, typically we have traditionally we have been the B stream for HomeStory Cup for the past like almost 5 years, but in the most recent HomeStory Cup we were not available, so missed out on those games. We missed out on those games, missed out on those matches, and we're here to catch up. We're here to catch up as we quickly switch us over and catch up on the matches themselves. Here we go. Of course, for the group stage is a round robin group stage. Round robin, pure best of threes. I know in the past we have had some best of two formats in the group stage, but here pure best of threes between all these players, and we have quite a lineup here. Group B does consist of players like Cyril, Ryung, Jumy, SOS, and Mana. We do have a hefty amount of players here, and we'll see how they compare to each other. Here we go. We do have a couple of mirror matchups. We're going to be starting things off with a PvP between SOS and Jumy, and then we're getting into the rest of the matches themselves. Cyril versus Ryung, Ryung versus Jumy, Ryung versus Mana, Ryung versus SOS, and SOS versus Cyril. Oh boy. So we'll get there. We will get there. Up first, though, we do have our PvP, and we're going to be jumping into our initial series of the broadcast. Game 1 is going to be on Tourmaline. Let's go. Let us go. Again, our current plan is to go through all the groups, group A, B, C, and D. I will say that C and D are going to be cut up into multiple broadcasts just because there are even more worthwhile matches to cover, as those groups were even more stacked, I would say, even more stacked, even more intense when it comes to the caliber of players in group C and D. We'll get there. We'll get there. I was also a little bit on the fence whether or not we should actually cover the playoffs, but in the end, it may as well. Like, why not, Pappy? Why not? But now, this morning in the right-hand corner of Tourmaline, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing Streamer Zone. It is SOS. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the German Protoss player, the blue Protoss representing Streamer Zone. It is Jumy. Go. Here we go. We are getting into our fresh best of 3, and getting into this, we're going to be loading into Tourmaline. Tourmaline being one of the more aggressive maps in the map pool, and we'll see how aggressive our players are planning on being here. Bearing in mind, this is going to be a Streamer Zone showdown with both Jumy and SOS being on Streamer Zone, both representing the same team, and we'll see how they compare to each other. SOS, of course, has a plethora of experience behind him. The kebab. Infamous food item at HomeStory Cup. True. But yeah, SOS, he has a plethora of experience behind him. Of course, he is a world champion. He did take a massive break from the game and recently came back, recently joined Streamer Zone, and has been looking decent. I will say that he still has a ways to go to kind of reclaim that kind of state or era that he was once in. I will say that nowadays as well, SOS is a little bit less creative and less bombastic and less chaotic as well. He's even said this in interviews. I think it was during the RSL interviews. Oh, Jesus, it looks like there were some connectivity issues, but hopefully everything does clean up. But SOS, he spoke about how, like, I think Rogue did the same thing, where they both mentioned how nowadays, like, they're a little bit more lukewarm, or they're a little bit more tame compared to what they once were, and they're less chaotic and less aggressive, and they take more standard approaches at times. Not saying that SOS never cheeses or never does think outside the box, but maybe not the same way that he used to in the past. So we'll see how SOS does approach Jumy. Again, we've been seeing a lot more standard play, but it's a PvP, so we expect to see chaos in PvP. We expect to see aggression. We expect it. For now, we do have SOS cutting corners, going for a more economic start. As you can see here, one gate opener. So gate, a cyber expand into a safety shield battery here, hyper greed out of SOS. Meanwhile, Jumy going for a standard 2-gate opener. Jumy did not scout. Ooh, no probe scout out of Jumy, so he doesn't know that he can punish, instead going for a later sentry hallucination scout. By the time he realized what's going on, I mean, it's too late to throw down a robo, to throw down a reaction, to throw down a 1-base all-in. So now it confirms that again the gateways are far later. SOS will get away with greed. We'll get away with it. Meanwhile, we're getting to our take of choice. Twilight Council opener out of Jumy. Does that up here, and Jimmy's gonna try to react with aggression. Okay, so this makes sense. Once again, just to re-emphasize, SOS did cut a lot of corners in the early game. He is being very greedy, and I mentioned that it was a late scout and a late reaction out of Jumy, but he is reacting here. Oh, Forge back at home tells us that we're getting greater upgrades. +1 is going to be on the way. Blink is going to be on the way. No, we're going for the Dark Shrine. Proxy Dark Shrine in the center of the map here. Ooh, okay, bold move here by Jumy. We'll see if this works out. Unfortunately, SOS is playing safe. Again, we just spoke about this, right? How SOS in the past used to be hyper aggressive. Here he's being hyper greedy and very safe as well. Going for a faster Nexus, going for later gateways, but going for a Robo before taking a third. Again, this is a third base after the Robo, so he has access to detection. Just very, very safe follow-up here by SOS. And we'll see if he does get the Observer. There it is. Observer is on the way. So we'll have detection. SOS didn't scout the cheese, didn't scout the proxy, but he will have the tools to defend. We'll have the tools. Behind this, Blink is delayed here for Jumy because of the Dark Shrine. Jumy now setting up for a third base. SOS, his is already halfway done. Now SOS does move out and does actually miss the proxy. Okay, so these DTs actually have potential here. Not too much, but potential is definitely there. Oh, the Observer does spot. No. SOS, no reaction. He doesn't notice. No reaction. He does not pull back. He does not notice. He could, of course, try to recall back home. But DT's waddling in. SOS, he does find the lack of expansion. And Jumy, can we commit to some kind of base trade here? He's going for the pylon. Going for the pylon, boys are being pulled. Oh, Jumy taking a lot of hits on his stalkers. Oh, that pylon is so tanky. Shout out to the shield battery. And SOS, he commits in. He commits into the natural. Takes down the DT. SOS does bleed out 15 probes though. Yeah, 15, 16 probes. These DTs are wreaking havoc. They're doing too much damage. They're doing too much. And there's a recall. There's a recall back home. It is, detection is available. DTs are hunted down, and now we need to take a moment here to take stock. So both armies back off from each other. Both players have quote-unquote defended. SOS is down to 35 probes, meanwhile Jumy down to 34. Jumy, he didn't lose as many workers, but he never had a third base, so he had less workers to begin with. SOS still has a third. SOS is ahead. He is ahead. He's on 3 bases. He can replenish his workers that much faster. He has a greater economy, and of course he has detection as well. Well, does Jumy have Blink? Jumy has Blink, and Jumy has +1. So when it comes to a fight without the Immortal coming into play, Jumy can actually come out on top. Blowing the army out. Ooh, timing on the Immortal. One more volley. What a last. Oh my god, the Immortal goes down. Massive pickup. And Jumy, does he have enough here? Oh, he does have a lower stalker count. Yeah, he has less stalkers. SOS does bully him back. And behind this we have another Immortal. SOS is holding his own. Switching to charge. This is a way to skip tech and to build up a greater army here against Blink Stalkers. Jumy is building up. Yeah, as Jumy tries to knock down the front door, SOS he does counterattack, denying mining, 0 mining here at the natural. Do we pull the boys? Do we? Jumy's just going for the 2 base all in. I mean, again, he never got a third, right? He never got a third base. Jumy is 2 base all in. Trying to push into 3 immortals though. Ay, ay, ay. The longer this game goes on, the better it is for SOS. He's warping in more charge lots. The boys have arrived. As Jumy, he tries to dive in here, and he's losing every single worker. Likewise, he does focus on one of the immortals, but there's still 2 left. There's still 2 immortals, down to 1. One immortal remaining. But GG gets called. Yeah, GG gets called. SOS, he defends, he survives, and SOS will take game number 1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. SOS surviving the aggression of Jumy. Again, SOS went for a very greedy build, safe follow-up into a faster third base, macroing up into a longer game. Jumy did recognize the greed of SOS, and he tried to punish, but it was such a late scout, late reaction, late punish, to the point where it didn't really achieve anything. I mean, I say that the DTs did kill a lot of probes, that is true, but he himself didn't have any workers to begin with anyway, so it wasn't enough to recover, it wasn't enough to equalize. Jumy stayed behind. GG, well played. With that, we're going to be following our players into game number 2, and we'll see if Jumy can bounce back and recover as we load into Mothership. Let's go. Let us go. As Mothership is one of the larger and more massive maps in the map pool, of course, a 3-player spawn map. Let's go. Spawning in the bottom side of Mothership, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing Streamer Zone. It is SOS. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the German Protoss player, the blue Protoss representing Streamer Zone, as well as our teammates. It is Jumy. Here we go. Getting into that second game. Whew. And again, a much larger map this time. As a result, there's a higher chance that Jumy himself could even be greedy and could try to keep up with the economy of SOS. We'll see. We'll keep an eye on the gateways, we'll keep an eye on the initial setup. Again, one of the reasons why game 1 worked so well for SOS was because Jumy did delay his probe scout. Or I say delay, he just never went for him. He never went for a probe scout. So Jumy was working with a lot of incomplete information. Meanwhile, Jumy going Nexus first. Okay, hyper greed here. This is the greediest build you can go for in PvP. We often do see like gate expands or gate cyber expands, which is what we saw last game out of SOS. But here, a straight Nexus first. You cannot get greedier than this. Okay. So Jumy's going to be cutting corners, and again, this makes a lot of sense on the Mothership, because the map is so large, and because it's more difficult to scout and figure out where your opponent is, and because there's less of a chance that SOS would go for an all-in, you can cut corners like this. So Nexus first out of Jumy, SOS not too far behind goes Gate Expand. Gate Expand, so a slightly later expansion, but still economic here from SOS. So again, both players being greedy, both players being economic. SOS does move out with his probe scouts, and SOS he will find Jumy, and no probe scout whatsoever. The downside here, of course, is that Jumy won't see his opponent. He won't know where his opponent is spawning into. The upside is, of course, he does have more mining for longer. I say that does have a worker patrolling here. And the probe does slip in. Okay, SOS. So he doesn't just find Jumy, he also confirms how early the Nexus is, as he can compare it with his own, right? He can compare it with his own timing. It's faster. Must have been Nexus first. Now the problem is that because of SOS's build himself, he doesn't really have a way to punish. Oh, he's going for a Stargate response though. Stargate into Oracle harass to try to get ahead economically, to try to catch up. Again, there is a lot of pressure on SOS to kill probes, and this is the way to do it. So far, good reactions here by SOS. Adepts are moving out. SOS does thread and dive. Again, two up saying one-shot probes. can one-shot, shading into the mineral line. So far, 1, 2, 3 probes going down. 4 probes even. Ay. Nice damage here by SOS. And does he even shade away? No shot. He does shade away as well. So SOS does pull out. Behind this, Oracle's making his way into the bases, checking Jumy's vision. He did scout. Jumy is aware of the Stargate. Jumy is aware of the Oracle. Okay. So the Adepts, they do a lot of damage. The Oracle should not. Gets 1 probe. Just 1, 5 in total. And already because of this economic damage, SOS, he reclaims, or he does gain a lead. He does gain a lead here. SOS makes up for his later expansion, catching another probe, 6 probes going down. SOS has done enough. He's done enough. Oh my god, he just finds every probe here as another probe tries to be sent out. Jumy, he cannot leave. Behind this, Twilight Council and Forge, standard follow-up out of Jumy going +1 on Blink. SOS looking to expand himself. Double Oracle can one-shot probes. Jumy's in position. Jumy's ready. Jumy turns away at the same time it ups a thread and a shade into the natural. Jumy this time is keeping up. But again, Jumy's contained, which means SOS can expand, and there it is, third. Third base is on the way for SOS, so SOS is getting further ahead. In a mirror matchup, this is terrifying. Again, you saw it in the last game as well. But because you have the same tools as your opponents, being up a base is huge. Being up an economy is huge. As 2 more probes go down, both Oracles do get away. Now, just like last time, Jumy's 1 advantage is +1. +1 does mean that his army is going to be a little bit stronger. Jumy going for the ninja expansion. Going for the spray. So this tells us a couple of things. 1, Jumy is not going to go for a 2-base all-in, right? Otherwise, this Nexus could be extra gateways. So no timing attack, no 2-base all-in out of Jumy. Instead, going for a ninja base, hoping he can try to macro out of this. The downside, of course, is that this Nexus, it's going to be difficult to saturate. He can recall, true, he can recall over to saturate the base. That's going to be the best call. Oh, Jumy double expanding? Oh. I mean, he needs to make it look like he's playing standard. But this is a big investment here, double expanding. Ay. Okay. We'll see if he can we'll see if this can bail. We'll see if Jumy can get away with this. SOS is now moving out. He has Blink. Just now starting up +1 and getting to charge. SOS moving in to deny the third. He might even just break the army, to be honest. SOS is up in Stalkers. What's the sentry? Oh! Takes a lot of hits. Warprint does finish. Jumy holds. Jumy does hold at the same time. Double Oracle into the natural. Army's out of position. Probes getting 1 shot. 3, 4 probes going down. Ay. Again, SOS still maintaining that economic lead. From here, we're just slowly building up. Because Jumy didn't go for an earlier all-in, it does mean that SOS is just building up a greater and greater army. Things are looking very bleak here for Jumy. Now, there is a chance that Jumy can fight with his better upgrades, that Jumy can fight with his cannons and shield batteries and take a bit of a more defensive stance here. That might be enough to swing some of the fight in his favor. We'll see how SOS does approach this. The other scary thing, Jumy doesn't see the army. He doesn't see the army, so SOS technically could position himself here outside of the natural and then peel off into the mineral line. We'll see. But now there's Revelation. SOS spots the main army. SOS does rotate. Jumy, he does take a worker lead, true. So if SOS doesn't do anything soon, Jumy can recover supply-wise. Like this ninja base, it is paying off. And if SOS doesn't move in, then Jumy can recover. He can recover and take a lead. And Jumy just needs more time. Needs more time here. Again, there's a big opening. There's a massive opening here. SOS, does he go for it? He does. Yeah, makes his way in. Makes his way in. Robe is exposed. Jumy's out of position. Completely out of position. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, Zelce bust in. SOS has to be careful. Nice stasis. Very nice stasis. Stasis goes off. 10 probes going down. SOS, he can threaten the main army. Nice hold position micro. SOS moving in, catching an Archon. Yeah, just picking Jumy apart, getting an Archon. Collapsing into the third. Stasis trap does run out. And SOS, he may have to get the hell out of here. Yeah, he kites back. As he kites back, Zelce peel up into the middle line. There's an Archon to defend. Ah, the Archon goes down. Oh, a nice time shot to Jumy. He does get 2 Archons. 3. Does pick up 3 Archons. And again, on the one hand, Jumy did lose a lot of probes, but again, that ninja base being fully up and running allows Jumy to keep up. Jumy's keeping up. Morphing in more Archons. Ooh, and actually, I do now favor Jumy's position here. SOS lost a bunch of Archons. His push here was quite expensive. He didn't just lose those Zealots, but his high-tech units as well. Jumy preserved his own Archons, and now Jumy's getting up to 6 Archons. So I am liking Jumy's position here. In the end, that ninja base did come into play. Did help him recover. SOS was too passive. Do you think that SOS just waited a little bit too long? Ooh. As the harass continues. We're even catching out 2 Eye Templar. Oof. Both Templar go down. But SOS, he should not be pushing in. Again, SOS, his army is it's just too poor. What I mean by that, how do you counter Mass Zealot? Mass Archon, right? This is a superior composition for Jumy. Even though the supplies are similar, the soup is lying. The soup is lying to you. SOS does get into the mineral line though. Okay. Does get into the mineral line. SOS, he cannot fight head on. He has to get the hell out of here. Yeah, 6 rounds too long. 6 rounds too long. He's out a lot of units here, and Jumy's giving chase. Same time, SOS going for more round buys. Again, the harassment from SOS has been solid. He's killed 15 probes. A lot of workers have gone down, but what about the main army? What about that main army? As again, Jumy still retains all of those Archons. And I would say that Jumy's ahead. At this point, Jumy is ahead. He's outscaling SOS. How many Archons? 9! 9, so it'd be 10 Archons back. That's a lot of Archons. And again, Jumy's done it. Jumy at this one, he has done it. He breaks the expansion, now moving in. And again, SOS did an amazing job when it comes to harassing. How many probes has he killed? 45. 45 probes are going down for Jumy. But again, he could afford those losses. He could afford it. Unironically, this ninja base from Jumy won in the game. It's straight up. As SOS posturing, Jumy is maxed out. Jumy getting it to 11 Archons. Now we see a Bay on the way as well for Disruptors. So SOS does commit. Does commit in. Likewise, Jumy has the high ground. Jumy has the greater concave. He has to go control the ramp. Jumy has the ramp back. Yeah, so he's trying to force his way in. God. And with that, Jumy, he should take the better fight here. Pushing on forward. Jumy has slightly better upgrades. And SOS is just being bullied back. At the same time, SOS does kill a mineral line. But the main army, fam. SOS kiting back. Losing all of his Archons. The Immortals are now exposed. Now we see the Immortals, oh, barely not going down. Jumy waiting for reinforcements. Getting extra warp ins. Catching out another Immortal. There's one Immortal left. Down to one Immortal. Down to 0. GG gets called. And Jumy, he does tie things up. We are going to the ace match. GG. Whew. GG, well played. We're going all the way to game number 3. Again, Jumy, he had a very rough start and very rough setup when in regards to his economy. He was losing a lot of workers, a lot of probes going down to the Adept harass, the Oracle harass. Again, the harass and the run-bys from SOS were amazing. They were solid. Like, they were doing so much damage, but there was the Ninja Base. The Ninja Base did get saturated, did get fully up and running, and allowed Jumy to sustain those losses, sustain them, and to build up a greater army. Slowly build up that greater army with that. GG, well played. And with that, we're now getting into the ace match, loading into game number 3. Let's go. Let's go. We'll see how this story ends. We'll see who will claim it. Let's go. Make sure you got some water. Like, gonna be a long stream. Yes, yes. Make sure to hydrate, man. Make sure to hydrate. Nah. And spawning in the top right hand corner of White Rabbits, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing Streamer Zone being forced into a tied series. It is SOS. And spawning in the bottom hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the German Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss representing Streamer Zone. It is Jumy. Go. We've made it, man. We've made it. Made it to the ace match here, and again, this can go either way. I will say that I do still lean towards SOS when it comes up to the favorite player here, but hey, Jumy was able to get a fast one over on SOS by going for said Ninja Base, so we'll see what other shenanigans Jumy has ready for us this time. In game 1, he attempted DTs, got shut down. Game 2, Ninja Base, got away with it. Game 3, what do you have for us? What are you on about, Iceland, pappy? Yeah. Oh no. Tried to tune into a hot pond stream and ended here. Ah. Is that what the pond card should have been called? The hot pond tub stream. Oh god. Get out of there. For now, double gate opener here by Jumy. Likewise, 2-gate opener out of SOS. So for the first time in this series, standard openers. Remember, in game 1 we had SOS being greedy and Jumy trying to punish that. In game 2 we had both players cutting corners and even Jumy going straight up Nexus first. Here in game 3, 2-gate openers all around. We're calming down. Oh, okay, so Stalker Adept out of Jumy, meanwhile Sentry Expand out of SOS. Cancel the Zealots. Oh no, he fails to look him in. Does fail to look him in, but does barely get the Nexus. That was close, that almost got punished. But basically what was happening here, that Zealot was a fake out, making it look like he was making 2 units, luring the probe in, and then canceling, and then throwing down said Nexus. So again, a greedier build here by SOS. Does go for a greedier start. Pylon blocks across the map, delaying the base of Jumy. So SOS, he will have the slightly better economy, at least currently, and the pressure is now on Jumy to make up for that. pressure is on. Ooh, SOS setting up a proxy pylon here on the right-hand side. Interesting. You have my attention. Attention here. Behind this, you do see that Jumy is not going into a Twilight Council. For the first time this series, going to be opening up Robo. So Robo into a Forge, into a more Immortal heavy composition. This typically does build up and does hit with +2. So you get +1, then +2. By the time you get +2, you're on 3 bases. You have your Mass Immortals, and you get into most likely Glaive Adepts. But we'll keep an eye on Jumy. Oh, because SOS is pushing here now. Yeah, SOS behind this, getting a 3rd gateway, early blink, a proxy pylon, getting a 4th gateway, 2 base, 4 gate blink out of SOS. SOS being hyper aggressive, and Jumy doesn't know. Yeah, Jumy, he's not fully aware of this. He doesn't see the proxy, he doesn't see the move out, so Jumy's playing blind. Does have a battery that's halfway done, but it's going to come down to the force fields. He gets hooked in. Ooh, Jumy gets caught. Yeah, Jumy gets caught, losing 1, 2 sentries and a stalker. Yeah, massive loss for Jumy, who loses his army. Boys are being pulled. Battery does go down. And we're waiting for warpins. We're expecting extra warpins here. As SOS, he is overwhelming. The Immortal has arrived. Where are those warpins, by the way? They're late. They're just now coming in. And again, overall, that was a better trade for SOS. But now there is that one Immortal. And there's another battery. Another battery. Jumy, he's holding on. Blink is now finishing up. Not getting to blink. SOS has to make a choice. Does he commit into an all-in or does he expand? What's the plan? I mean, again, he does have extra gateways. Got 11 Stalkers. Hey, 2-shot. And blinks in. P3. Yeah, there we go. The first Immortal does go down. Tanks a lot of volleys, though. And Jumy's holding. And Jumy is holding on. Just barely. Once again, they're waiting for extra warpins. I think the shields were triggered for Jumy. Yeah, so as he wants to go for the dive. There it is, triggers the shields. Shields run out, blinks in. 2 shots. It takes down the Immortal, but one more Immortal does barely pop out in time. Jumy trying to hold on. The A probes go down. Jumy, he's holding. He's holding. He's surviving. SOS, he knows that he expands, yeah. So SOS, he has recognized that he can no longer kill Jumy. He cannot kill him. Cannot break him. Forced to expand. On the one hand, SOS will now be looking to take an economic lead. On the other hand, Jumy, he might be able to turn this into a 2-base all-in. Let's go charge. If you remember at the very beginning, we spoke about how this will hit and kind of lead into a +2 timing. +2 is on the way. Remember, what does SOS have? +0. SOS, he has 0 upgrades, but very greedy here, and I do actually like this. So SOS, he's very far behind when it comes to upgrades. Why? He was all in. Like, he was all in. The all in has failed, but how do you recover from that? Disruptors. Disruptors are, they don't care about upgrades. They don't care about upgrades. So having lack of upgrades here, disruptors are a good way to recover, to have a comparable army, if not a greater army. Disruptor production has begun. And this is a way for SOS to fight back. As SOS does catch the adepts. Jumy finds a proxy. shut them down. Disruptors, they are kind of like the superior setup here. Hallucination does spot one of the disruptors though. Yeah, Jumy doing a double take. He's like, hold on. What do you have here? What have you done? And again, this will put a lot of pressure here on Jumy. Jumy still has no expansion. He's still very much the 2-base all-in. Either Jumy kills SOS or he dies trying. No, as he moves out, SOS moves in. This is delaying Jumy. Yeah, big delay. Jumy is now moving out. Here comes the rest of the army. Here comes the Prism. Again, it's all or nothing. But he's pushing. He's all-inning into 4 disruptors. We got 3 and we got 1 more on the way. Ay. It might just be too late. I mean, it just comes down to the Novas. Do they connect? Do they not? But the problem is that Jumy's army is less mobile. He has no blink. It is much easier for the Novas to connect. Prism goes down, or fake Prism. So there's no distraction. Army moves in. Forced to be 5 Novas. First Nova gets wasted. 4 Novas left. We have Jumy coming for the flank. Oh! Nova goes off. Ooh, connects with the Archon. And nice connection here on the cells as well. 1 disruptor goes down, another Nova. Oh, does overextend actually. Okay, Jumy getting in trouble with the Stalkers. The Novas were not good enough. They were not good enough here. Does get an Archon. Disruptors are they about to reset? Yeah, they are. Yeah, they're going to reset here. Stalkers, they push on forward. Oh no! Nova's massive connections. Catching out the Zealots, catching out the Immortals. Ay. Oh, a bit of friendly fire. Yeah, a bit of friendly fire, but it's fine. SOS, he will shut this down. GG gets called, and SOS, he will claim the series 2-1, taking down Jumy. GG. Whew. GG, well played. SOS, he will claim the series. Again, just a really rough game state there for Jumy, being forced into a 2-base all-in. It was all or nothing there for Jumy, and in the end, he did have nothing left. Trying to all-in into Disruptor specifically is brutal. Jumy had a really nice defense, though. Like, initially, remember, he had a really nice defense. He defended, he protected his natural. That was the moment when SOS had to make the decision to expand. But as we mentioned, SOS, he also was able to buy enough time for Mass Disruptor. Bought enough time. GG. GG, well played. Whew, with that, SOS does claim the series. Does start things off with a win here, but now it's time to feature some of the other players in the group. We have SOS, we have Jumy, we also have a Zerg and a Terran player as well. We have Cyril, and we also have Ryung. Oh boy.